Today, 16th of March 2025, Trombone Bajo, Lazy Trombone, is back in Ireland. We are doing the first interview for the channel on the eve of St. Patrick's Day, just by a mere coincidence. Everybody, please welcome Marlene Hilliard, trombone extraordinaire, my mentor while I was in Ireland, and a personal friend of mine since 2019. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
You have to please mind that I have written the questions, so I will be reading from my notes on my mobile. First thing, thank you for having us in your home. Marlene has not just provided a trombone for me to be playing the days that I'm off in Ireland. She also provided the venue for this filming, and she agreed to be the first person to be interviewed for the channel. So thank you so much for all of that. By the way, you have a beautiful house. Thank you.
Thank you.
And you are one of the first people in Ireland that visited us back in Yekla. Did you like Yekla? How was that?
Yekla was just a wonderful town. Yes.
Thank you for coming. It was, again, I guess, the first of many. At some point, I guess, the Tourist Information Office should somehow give me a medal because I'm bringing tons of people from Ireland. It has been already quite a few visiting Yekla. So I have some notes with me. Of course, you know that I did my background research on you. So you played the piano, the guitar, the baritone, the flugelhorn, the tin whistle, and you also do lots of choral singing, and you have been playing the trombone since forever, more than 40 years. Also, you have played in at least 6 different bands: the St. George Brass Band, the Girls Brigade Band, Steadfast Band, the first Land Old Boys Band. Then you have to help me out with this one. Graignamanagh Brass Band and HX Brass. And I have in good faith that you also regularly play with an orchestra. Is there anything left to do? An instrument, a particular venue, a piece, or an ensemble currently on your wish list?
No. Perhaps the castanets.
What's castanets?
Oh, Spanish.
Ah,
shake.
Okay. That's for an instrument. What about the venue? Have you went to a particular night that you...
Oh, I sang in the Royal Albert Hall.
You sang on the Royal Albert Hall?
In a group of singers, the cantata singers.
Oh my God.
Way back in...
Look at her.
1979.
2 years after I was born. Okay. So how that come to be? Like...
John Beckett, who is a renowned Bach expert, had this group of singers in Dublin that sang all the cantatas over a number of years on a Sunday afternoon.
Wow. And
he got the gig for us in the Royal Albert Hall.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was not expecting that. Okay. I think that section you got covered straight away. Oh, I have here something. You also conduct the band. I'm talking about the St. George's Brass Band, When the Need Arises. I said, ask her about St. Stephen's Green Summer Concerts.
Oh, St. Stephen's Green Summer Concert. It was the very first time I conducted the band in public, and it was just a great place to do that and have that opportunity.
Of course it is. It's full of people in summer. It's a very nice...
It's a lovely park in the
I
centre
hope
of Dublin.
at some point to be able to play there, but it didn't come to fruition. But do you remember what pieces you played in that concert or you conducted?
No.
Do you know at least if it was like some Spanish music allowed?
I don't think so. I can't remember. Sorry. It's an age thing.
Did it go well, the concert?
I think it went well, and the audience that were there lying around on the grass in the sunshine were very enthusiastic with their clapping.
Oh, good. That's always good. Okay, so next question is what's your favorite brass band piece, either as a player or as a conductor?
Little Suite for Brass by
Okay.
Malcolm Arnold.
Yeah, I have that one.
Oh, you have that one.
Little Seat from Brass Number One by Malcolm Arnold.
Yes, yes.
So, what do you think, or what do you like about that piece in particular?
The contrasts in the different music, and I think it was written for a school brass band, so it's not too difficult.
Yeah, I listened to this particular piece this morning just to
Oh, right,
just to
right,
understand
yeah.
your answer. Okay, and coming back to the brass band, I met you when I moved to Ireland in July 2019. I remember well. One of the first things that I did when I came to Ireland, because I was used to play back in my hometown with the Banda Unión Musical de Valladares, was to look for a band to play with, because that goes with me. That
Me too.
something like I need breathing, something like that. I just need to play. And I remember doing my research. I came out with 2 or 3 maybe potential candidates, but one of them was especially looking for a bass trombone player, which is still to this day. I have checked in the Facebook. You are still, the band is still looking for a bass trombone player, and I think I contacted you or someone else from the band, and well, we agreed that I will come to the rehearsal. But I was, for me, it was. I didn't know what to expect. It would be the first time that I played on a brass band, and also I didn't know if you would make like an audition or something like that. And do you remember how that went?
No, you tell me.
Okay, so I remember that I got in a place, you got a trombone for me, and the only question that you asked me is like, can you read bass clef? Which to me, it was quite a surprise, because as a normal regular trombone player in Spain, you will only play bass clef. So I thought it was like a test or something. I was like, yeah, of course, I
Yes.
know how to read the bass clef. And you said, the position is all yours. I was like, what? And then I learned that this was quite uncommon. It's like never unheard of in Spain. Is that all of the rest of the musicians in a brass band actually plays the treble clef, not the bass clef, not even the trombones. You play as the
Treble clef.
you play treble clef, and I was like, wow, that's something else.
I think I might know the reason for that with brass bands and the movement in England, because all the colliery bands, they would have had their lessons and escaped from being down the mines. They all wanted to join the band. And so classes were all, it was just treble clef, no matter what the instrument was.
And I think it also facilitates when there is a lack of any particular instrument. I don't know, maybe the baritone player is not feeling well, so someone can jump into his paper and
Maybe.
being able to read on the same kind of what you are used to read, even if you are playing some other part, is easy. It's not the same thing with the wind ones. If I were given a paper from the clarinet or something, I was like, what the hell is this? By the way, now that you're talking about collieries, it's different in Spain also that brass band seems to be very related to an entity, be it like a company, a very big company like a steelwork or something like that, or a colliery, while in Spain the bands have more to do with the community. Let's say a group of people totally unrelated to or a church. I think ours, the St. George Brass Band, is related to the parish of St. George, which is it an Church of Ireland one?
Church of Ireland, yes.
Yeah. In Spain, it's nothing like that. Well, that I think that's the other thing that to me it was kind of different. I have a note here that says the first time that I heard a brass band was in a movie. It was in the movie Brasto.
Stuff.
Yeah, it's a very nice movie. And in Spain it's called like Playing to the Wind, Tocando al Viento. And it's about a colliery, so a mine, a coal mine during the Margaret Thatcher era, in which all of the collieries were shutting down in Britain. Um, yeah, since then, I have seen multitude of brass bands. Live, I've only seen once in Northern Ireland when some of my colleagues and me went and go see the Black Dyke Band, which it was very funny. I had a moment of starstruck when I saw the conductor. He was waiting to jump into the stage. They were playing for a company, an electric company, something like they were doing like a 50th anniversary, and this company had hired for a big venue, and the Black Dyke company brass band was playing, and he was playing Happy Birthday at that moment, but the conductor was still off stage, and me and my friends just arrived late, and we were just going around the venue, and I almost fell down the stairs, and when I got up, it was the conductor there, and I have seen him from a few weeks before in this brass band competition TV series that was aired on TV, and I was like, "You are from the telly." I know you. Yeah, it was just like that. It was very fun, and it was a very nice concert. These fans, they were the champions of Britain several times, and it's like, too much. Question regarding brass bands. What makes a brass band unique and different to a wind band? If you can get into the specifics, because you know both of them.
Well, there are no reeds in a brass band, so that rules out a lot of instruments. And in brass bands, we don't have trumpets, we have cornets, which have a more mellow sound. And no French horns in a brass band. The tenor horn is, you probably know, a euphonium,
Yeah.
and a tuba, and slightly smaller than the euphonium is a baritone, and smaller than that again is a tenor horn.
So the baritone is the one that has the same tessiture as the tenor trombone. It's just like it's similar to a tenor trombone, but with valves.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the tone is different. It's more mellow
tone is different,
than a
yes,
band.
yes.
All of them are conical instruments. They are not, as you said, they are not.
They don't have reeds.
Yes, and the only non-conical instrument is actually the trombone, which is a cylindrical one.
Right.
There is a fixed number of musicians, mostly 30 something.
Yes, 30 something.
So it's not like in a band, a wind band could be from 35 to maybe 100 something. This is like fixed in that regard. It's I found that I also found that you use a lot of vibrato with respect to a regular band. You're just to this mellow sound and the use of vibrato, which I don't know. I have to do it for this piece that we are going to talk about later, but I cannot do it. You may have to teach me how to do vibrato.
Oh, it's nerves with me.
No, it's not just nerves. You have good control over it. And the trombone session is a regular one. It's just normally 3 or 6 trombones.
Sorry?
The trombone section.
Oh, the trombone section would be
Yes,
3.
3.
Two tenors and one bass.
And the bass is the only one that reads bass clef in the
Yes.
whole. Okay, so tell me, what about your first day in a band? How and where was the start of your musical career?
In a band.
Yes.
It would have been, I was aged 21 or 22, and this,
So that was like yesterday.
yes, if you think so. You mentioned the Girls' Brigade band. Well, that was being set up in Dublin, and it would have been young girls, and they were looking for somebody more mature in their 20s that would be able to pick up a brass instrument and maybe get there quicker and produce a sound. So I got myself in that way.
Ah,
So I was, the gentleman who was running the show was very busy, so he just gave me a book and he said, the slide positions are here, here and here. And I taught myself.
so that's the way that you learn trombone.
That's the way that I learned.
Well, I also didn't learn in a very canonical way, but at least I got like the conductor of my band at the time knew almost all of the instruments, so he was the one teaching me the positions, and he kind of like what you should do and what you shouldn't try to do, which I'm not good at doing what he told me to do anyways. And now you're at the head of the trombone section, have been for quite a while of the band.
I have been, yes, and I'm trying to persuade somebody in the St George's Brass Band to take
step up.
over from me and step up. Yes.
Is that fruitful at all?
I'm hoping to get there by the summer.
Okay. And in my notes of my research, I think that you have met your husband through the band.
That's right.
Is that true?
That's true.
So
Because in my mid-20s, I was still doing a lot of singing, and I was singing in a small quartet, and the bass singer is a cousin of my husband's, and my husband happened to mention to him, I wished I'd learned music when I was younger. And Martin at this stage was just 30, I think. And Ken said, well, what instruments do you like the sound of? And Martin said, a trombone. So Ken said, I'll fix you up with the trombone teacher. That was me.
okay.
Yes.
And then one thing led to another, and here we are.
And here we are.
I believe there is now a lineage of musicians, and I have seen that your daughter Elizabeth plays the piano. I have seen in some of the videos that you sent me. And also your daughter Jane, I believe she's called, plays on the #1 Army Band. Okay. So what about any musician ancestors, or does the lineage start with you?
No, it does not. My great-grandfather was a conductor of the Delgany Brass Band in the late 1800s, early 1900s.
Wow.
So, and apparently he could play every instrument in the band, but he couldn't play a piano. And my father was a very good tenor and even sang in his 90s with the Dublin Welsh Male Voice Choir.
Wow.
And so there was music there on both sides of the family. But Elizabeth, you mentioned Elizabeth.
Yes.
As a pianist. She's actually a singer is her main occupation of contemporary music. So
Wow.
she's a busy girl. Yeah.
Okay, that's so good. Let's switch now specifically about the trombone. What do you like most about the trombone? And now that's the other side too.
The sound,
The sound.
the look of it.
It's just beautiful, isn't it?
I just love the trombone. I caress the bell every evening.
Okay, what do you like the least about it? And I will tell you what I do like
I know
the least
what I
about
like
it.
the least about it. It's too heavy.
It's okay, yeah. I now play the bass trombone, and that's still heavier. I have to look into the way that I set it up. You know that you can set that as an angle with the bell and whatnot to see what's the angle that strains me the least on the. How did you say?
Wrist.
On the wrist. Yes. Thank you for that. But for me, when I was a small child, I guess with my friends in the band, that almost all of us started with the same age. This taunting about these different instruments that all of them can play very fast passages, and then you with the trombone will be just jumping around. I don't know, maybe that thing I didn't like too much, but it's that's just been Nowadays, it's just like you get over that. You can still play fast. You only have to really, really study. But yeah, the sound is like the presence and the versatility of the instrument.
Yes.
I think not many instruments get to play in such a different array of ensembles. Um, so the orchestra, whatnot. I remember even playing. So I have this question. Let me just jump into the question. So, what's the most picturesque ensemble or situation you have played the trombone with?
That's a hard one to answer. You can come back to me on that.
Yeah, okay, I will tell you which was the most picturesque for me. So I was playing with this punk slash ska band in a village near my one. With guitars and electric basses and whatnot. And we were playing a trumpet, a saxophone, and a trombone. And the head singer, punks, they look, they really like to take the worst out of people, and so he started. This was in a venue very close, in an open venue, very close to to a church, and he started shouting anti-church things. And there was some small villagers there, apart from all the younger ones. There was like old people around too, looking at what the hell these people were doing, and they didn't really like that, and they almost throw us out of the stage because of this guy that started this kind of stuff. But at the end, I must say that just because we were playing music, even if it was just punk music or ska or whatnot, at the end it finished up with everybody just dancing around the music and having fun. So that's good. Some alcohol may have been involved too. Yeah. So now, talking specifically about your instrument, what can you tell me about your instrument? What make, model? Like, have you been playing this one for some time, or maybe this is you have like a set of that you can use this one or this other one for different occasions?
No, I just have one instrument, and it's a Con 88
Yeah,
G,
nice.
I think. Yes.
Nice one.
And my husband bought it for me when I was 60.
Wow.
Wow.
Nice
So it's
one.
getting old.
I mean, that takes a lot of air, I must say. This is not an easy instrument to play. I would say that's kind of, I mean, probably I will not make it. I cannot play it as loud as you or whatnot. This is different. I used to play a cheap knockoff of a Yamaha. And it's very easy to make it sound. And now that I play a Yamaha, it's even easier. And I play now the bass trombone, a Yamaha bass trombone. And when I switched to it, I was quite amazed on the ease of which I could make this instrument work with regards to my old one. And also the ease that it is to go like flexibilities to this, to how easy it is to change the harmonics and how well it does stick to a harmonic there. I was like, yeah, I should have bought a better trombone quite a long time ago. What's your favorite piece to play on the trombone?
I'm getting sentimental over you. I don't mean that now.
Ah,
I mean,
okay.
it's the name of a piece.
Okay. I thought I have like touched something that, okay. And yeah, I remember that you sent me the video, and I may play that on the channel later. And it's a really nice piece. For me, it will be probably, so our conductor from quite a long time ago used to do a lot of arrangements, and he was very fond of the Ralph. Is it Ralph Koenig band that made a lot of that was used to be a trombone player?
No, I don't know that name.
So there's like this trombone player that on the 60s did a lot of light-hearted music, like Bésame Mucho, and he had this kind of arrangement. And my conductor did his own versions of this arrangement, and the one that is for Bésame Mucho, I really like that one. It's very close to the original, yet still it's a very nice piece to play. People used to love when we played that piece, and it was the full section would stand up to play this thing,
Okay.
and people were just It was really nice. Um, so, what's the most difficult piece that you have played?
In the orchestra, the Wagner's the prelude to the Die Meistersingers.
Okay, so you did
But
good.
difficult, but very rewarding when I got there.
And I would say, what is the most difficult piece that you have seen played live? Maybe not.
No, can't think
No
of
more
anything.
difficult about
No.
that one. Okay, now we will switch about questions about repertoire. So as you know, I have I will plug here my project, which I call the A T-Bone Supernova, just because T-Bone, I get to play this trombone, the T-Bone Concerto and Supernova, because it may end up in a cosmic level explosion. I hope it goes well. But this T-Bone Concerto, which is a virtuoso piece for solo trombone, solo tenor trombone and band, is very difficult, but it's both epic, and it also has this lyricism into it. So I think it demonstrates two good parts about what a trombone can do. And it's not just one thing or the other, it can be both of them. His author is Mr. Johan de May, which I didn't know as some time ago, but it turns out that he was a professional trombone player. And I think that's why this piece, even if it's very difficult, it plays to the strengths of the instrument against some other that could still be nice and difficult, but you will feel that you were working against the instrument. Here, for example, you will find that the difficult passages is maybe just because of the speed, but like the ligatures go and play to your favor and not the other way around. You will not see a glissando out of the way or something like that. So from the author, I have sent you before a list of pieces.
Yes.
Can you tell me of that list some of them that you have played before? I remember
No.
what you said.
What did I say?
Yeah, an arrangement of the waltz number 2.
Yes, the Shostakovich.
Okay,
Yes.
you play, I guess, the solo part.
No, it's a brass band arrangement. So there
Oh,
wasn't
so
a
it doesn't
any
have the
partic-
solo part.
Well, it has at one stage, but just for 4 bars or whatever. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we used to
Yeah.
play the band arrangement, which has the solo part, and it's not of the many few that has a solo trombone nowadays for a piece with a band. And still, we play at least 2 arrangements that were originally for brass band. One would be the Extreme Makeover, which is based on a transformation on a piece from Tchaikovsky. It's a very difficult one. It used to be a set piece for the British championships in the 2005 for the British Brass Band Championships.
right.
And that one, it's again the Black Dyke Band that won that one with. That's a very nice piece, but a very difficult one. And at the time, I didn't know that it was originally written for brass band, and it was already crazy enough. When I heard the brass band version, I was blown away. So people can play so fast. You have listened to the T-Bone Concerto. What do you think about it?
Well, it struck me as being extremely difficult to play, but it showed sort of every aspect of what a trombone can do, and I liked it.
I think it's just amazing. I have some notes here. So, and I have seen this I have said this in previous videos. It has 2,210 notes, and I counted them because I didn't have anything better to do. So it's almost four octaves. So it goes from A1, so pedal A, as we used to call it, to high F or F5. Which is a note that I still cannot play. So I have to put my work into that. It has fast passages, of course, because it's a
Yes.
virtuoso piece. But I think the most difficult part of it is is everything regards the stamina, air, breath control, and then that you get to play high for so much time. And it needs you have to be on your physical peak to play this piece. Oh, and I have this question: that do you know there is a brass band arrangement of the T-bone concerto?
No, I think you mentioned it though. Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
It's not played
Okay.
as much as the wind band version, but I had this one. I have not heard it. I just heard a fragment of it, but I must say that probably it's just very
It's
difficult.
probably difficult for the whole band, I would
Yeah,
imagine.
yeah. Oh, I have this thing. So, you know about the project, my project, which is trying to play in three different cities this concerto with of the full set of arrangements, which nowadays is the piano reduction, the original wind band arrangement, the orchestral
Orchestra,
version, and the brass band
band
version. Brass band version is difficult to come by because in Spain we don't have such thing as a brass band, not even a wood one. Well, maybe there is somewhere, but I don't know. But so, do you think St. George's Brass Band could play it?
I'd want to see the score to decide that.
I think I have it somewhere. I may like later show that to you. And you told me that there's three, or like a total of three brass bands in Dublin. Was it, or was it orchestra?
Yeah, yes, concert band, wind bands are far more popular.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so as you may know, because I already told you, I have an audition, an upcoming audition with an orchestra this Tuesday, which is March the 18th, 2025, the day just before St. Patrick's Day.
Just
Let's see
after.
how that works. So, to see if I can play the concerto with them, do you have any tips on how I can prepare for that one in 2 days? Because, as you know, 2 days is enough time to prepare for an audition.
Just do your best.
I will try. I will try. So I'm terrified that I miss this opportunity because I know that this is a big opportunity for me. But of course, I will try to do my best. And by the way, I have this note here that if I were to play the orchestral arrangement of the T-bone concerto as of today, it would be the world premiere, because this has not been played before. Just to put a little bit of pressure on top of me. Good thing that this is in 2 years' time. So the project, the span of the project is 2 years, which has just started 3 weeks ago. So, next question. Will you come to the concert in Dublin?
I certainly will.
So what about the other one in Vigo, which will be my 50th anniversary?
Yes, I think maybe Martin and I might make that journey. Yes,
Okay,
yes.
and I guess once you go to Vigo and then Dublin, you will also come to the one in Jekla, which may be at the end of 2027.
Maybe.
So now, so this is we're almost done with this. So now I propose to play a game. This is a set of final questions, all regarding all of them to do with the T-bone concerto, and this is my project of trying to play this. So I have a set of questions, 5 questions. I will ask you those questions. You will answer those questions. Then you get to choose from this is a copy of the score. You get to choose a couple measures of the concerto.
Measures,
Yes,
right?
yeah, whatever you want. I will play that to you. I will try to do. You can be as bad as you want, of course. I will try to do that. Based on that, I will ask you then again the same 5 questions, and you get to rectify one of your answers. Okay?
Okay.
So my first question is, Um, do you think I will be able to play the three different arrangements for wind band, brass band, and the orchestra? In the case if you believe I won't be play any of the three or some of them, which ones, and what you think would be the reason for me not being able to play such one?
The brass band one, it's to find a brass band. I mean, the music for you is extremely hard, and I would imagine it would be for a brass band. So that might be difficult.
I agree. So far,
Yes.
we agree. We agree. So on my first concert, the next questions have to do all of them, the four of them, with the first concert, which will be on the 20th of February, 2027. So in 2 years' time. So question number 2. On my first concert on the 20th of February 2027, do you think I will be playing the whole piece by heart or by memory, which is what I intend to do?
No, I
Okay.
think give yourself a chance. Yes.
To be frank, I'm doing this because I'm not fast enough to sight read the piece. So I think this is something I have to do, even if I don't know if it will work to my advantage or not. Question number 3. On my first concert, again, 20th of February 2027, what speed do you think I will be playing the fastest passes at? The patches in question starts in measure 203 on the third movement, which is called Well Done, and is marked as vivace, dotted crotchet 144. Okay, so the first could be at 150 or faster. This is A. B would be between 150 and 149, which is as marked because it's 144. The C would be between 130 and 139, would be about 10 marks below what is marked. D would be between 120 and 29, and E would be at 119, which is a full 30 steps out of what is marked, or slower. What do you think?
I think aim for the C.
C, which is between 130 and 139, which is just below what is marked.
Yeah.
Okay. Fourth question on the first concert, about the number of notes that I will miss. Do you think the number will be 0, which is A, B, any number between 1 and 10, C, any number between 11 and 20, D, any number between 21 and 50, or E, any number between 51 and 100. Well, I have an F option, 101 and over.
Go for C again.
C, so any number between 11 and 20. Yeah, that's, I hope. I only hope that would be a nice one. 5. On my first concert on the 20th of February, do you think I will play and not miss the final note, F5?
Go for it and you will do it.
Okay, thank you so much. So now I will film this all the way through so we don't have to take the setup over. But just pretend that I play this thing with you. I will do it anyways because we have to film it.
Yes.
Do you think you will change any of your answers based upon what you see when I play?
Yes.
Which one?
The speed.
The speed you think it will be slower?
Yes.
So what are you going to go for?
E.
E is 119 BPM or slower. Okay.
Right.
So the final one is, do you have any other questions or remarks that you think we should be talking about?
No.
Okay. So thank you for bringing us to your home. And this is it. The first interview all done. Thank you so much.
Okay.